Hi guys! Today I am launching the start of my Summerween vlog. I'm doing the readathon and I'm super excited to start off with a library book haul, and that's going to kind of help guide the TBR because I have got some really exciting mysteries and thrillers I can't wait to dig into. So here's the goods. So I have a mixture of everything from cozy mysteries, murder mysteries, and thrillers. I like anything with a mystery if you're new to this channel. One I definitely want to read is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. This just came out, and Lucy Foley was actually my first contemporary thriller writer I ever read, and this one has so many tropes I'm excited for. So essentially there's this luxe coastal retreat called the Manor, and the locals aren't very happy about it. They feel like it's encroaching on local land, it's bringing a lot of guests they're not excited about. Well, on opening night for it, a body ends up found, a fire started, and that's kind of the general premise. I think Lucy Foley always has very bingeable thrillers, so I think I'm going to save this for the Summerween readathon. I think it'll be very bingeable. Next one is I think a mystery. It's by Mary Higgins Clark, who I've read the Where Are the Children series, really enjoyed it. This is my first time delving into something else. This is called I've Got My Eyes on You. Essentially we have this main character, her name is Carrie, she's 18 years old, and she drowns in a pool, and her family comes to the horrifying realization that she might have been murdered, and by someone she's close to. The likely suspect is her boyfriend, but a local guidance counselor, who is also her older sister to the girl who has passed away, is delving into this mystery. So I'm interested in this, and I feel like this is just perfect this time of year with the pool. It feels like it's going to be kind of set during the summer maybe. Another one I thought was perfect for summer, it's called Bloom and Doom, a bridal bouquet shop mystery by Beverly Allen. This is first in the series. The series came out in 2014, so it's not a new series, but I just saw it randomly in my library and thought, wow, that's cute. So our main character in this is Audrey Bloom, and she runs a flower shop. She specializes in these beautiful arrangements, especially ones that have the Victorian meaning behind the flowers, which I'm really curious to learn more about because I don't know much about that. But essentially her childhood friend is walking down the aisle, she's doing the flowers for the event, and the groom ends up dead. Worst case scenario, so she needs to find out what happened to her childhood best friend's groom to be, and that's kind of the premise. I'm thinking this takes place in spring or summer just because it looks very light and bright, and that's usually wedding season, I think, so I thought that would be a fun time. I also finally got my hands on The Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, which of course has been just blowing up everywhere on YouTube. I'm very excited. I've mostly had good results with Riley Sager, except for The House Across the Lake. We're not even gonna go there. I hated that book so much. But everything else I've read by him has been 4 or 5 stars. This one involves this cold case where these two boys were camping in their backyard, and one of them went missing. And the boys were young. They were 10 years old. One of them wakes up. The other is gone. There's slash marks with a knife on the tent. And years later the boy comes back, now a man, and he's just finding signs of his friend Billy everywhere. He's trying to actually figure out if someone roaming the neighborhood still, and that's kind of the premise for this. I'm feeling pretty positive about this. I think it's gonna be good. We're gonna see. One I saw at my library book sale that had such a fun theme. I think I'm gonna save this for fall just because of the theme, but it's called Tempest in the Tea Leaves, a fortune teller mystery by Carrie Lee Townsend. So our main character has quite the name. Her name is Sunshine Meadows, and she is a fortune teller, and she doesn't like people who claim to be what they aren't. She actually does have some fortune telling abilities, which I'm okay, cool. I don't know if I really believe in that, but for fiction, I'm all there. And she likes to help people in town. She actually reads the tea leaves in a librarian's cup, and unfortunately, she finds it to have a very deadly meaning. So she reports this to the police, but they brush her off, claiming, fortune telling isn't real. They don't take it seriously, and unfortunately, the librarian ends up dead. There does appear to be a very cute little cat here, so I'm excited for that. And I'm curious, I've just never seen a theme quite like this for a cozy mystery, and I feel like I'm gonna save this for fall because I don't know, it feels more like spooky season maybe. A cozy mystery I might read for Summerween is The English Breakfast Murder by Laura Childs. This is the 4th, I think, in the Tea Shop Mystery series, and I'm just eating this series up. So our main character in this is Theodosia, or Theo Browning. She runs a tea shop. It's very classic. She's a very, I feel like, more mature sleuth than a lot. She doesn't like rush into things. I really like her as a character, and the employees in her shop are all wonderful, fleshed out characters. And in this one, she's doing her first turtle walk. So I guess because so it's the Charleston Sea Turtle Protection League. They help shepherd the turtles into the sea safely because it's like a very high risk time for them where they can be picked off by birds and stuff. And while they're doing that, they find a body in the water, and it's a local antique dealer, and they're wondering, at least Theo is, if it was an accident or if this had something to do with the gold treasure in the area that maybe he was after. So that's kind of the premise for this. I'm really excited for this. If you love tea, you're gonna love the details in this mystery. It's so relaxing. It just feels very elegant. It's set in like modern times, so there's something very like kind of classic feeling about it, which I like. Okay, a thriller I know I'm gonna have to read for this because this has been one of my most anticipated thrillers all year, and that's One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. I love Ruth Ware's writing. I absolutely adore it. Last time she came out with 0 Days, I was a little let down just because I didn't love the theme. I don't really like the spy techie kind of, like, it just wasn't my favorite theme-wise. But the theme for this is right on like my taste, like right with my tropes, so I'm so excited. And it's based on Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, which I adore. Basically there's 5 couples, they're trapped on this remote island, they're cut off from civilization. It's part of like some kind of like game, like for like a reality TV show or something, and then they start to die one by one. That's all I need to know right there. That's it, and it looks so perfect. And then of course it's just like beachy looking for summer, so I can't wait for that. I have such a big TBR. So I definitely want to do Middle of the Night, One Perfect Couple, and The Midnight Feast for my thriller options. And then I'm definitely intrigued by the I've Got My Eyes on You by Mary Higgin Clark. And then in terms of the cozy mysteries, I feel like that's going to be more of a mood read, but I will find something else cozy to read, certainly. Good morning, guys. It is officially Summerween, but I think I want to start with the Mary Higgins Clark mystery because it's like 200 some pages, so I think it'll be pretty fast paced. We'll get in the groove and then maybe head into the Midnight Feast. And I'm thinking either the Tea Shop mystery series or one of these for a cozier read because I like to read a couple variants at one time, but we're gonna find out. I am gonna go make lunch right now. It is Friday, Summerween at the beginning here. I have been working all morning trying to knock out what I need to do for today so we can get into reading, and I am gonna make a homemade chicken Caesar salad for lunch because I am starving right now and it's too hot to actually use the oven. I'll need the stove to cook the chicken, but that'll be pretty quick. So we're gonna go make that. As always, I will list the recipe down below in the description. I am not a big salad person, at least not for like a meal, but I love this the Caesar dressing so much. When you make it homemade, it is absolutely perfect. It's like one of the first times in my life I've actually craved a salad because I love this dressing so much. So we're gonna go ahead and make the salad and do some reading and just take a nice little lunch break because I could use a mental break from the writing. So let's go.
It's like they know I'm a mood reader and I'm doing a readathon right now, and they're just throwing options at me to make it harder to decide what to read. This is so beautiful. I love the colors. This is so, it's just so striking. So this is a brand new thriller. Happy Saturday, guys. So it is the second day of Summerween, and I feel like this is when it's gonna really kick off, although I do have some great updates for you this morning. We're gonna put some makeup on, and then we're gonna go do some reading. We have 3 updates. I have 2 books actually knocked out because they were shorter, or they just like fled by really quickly, and then I have 1 cozy mystery that I have started and will be reading during the sprints. So we're gonna get into it. So the first 2 are Mary Higgins Clark's I Got My Eyes on You, and then The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. So we're gonna start in the order that I read them, which is I've Got My Eyes on You. This was my pick for the summer prompt because it takes place right at the end of like the school year, which maybe technically is a few weeks before summer technically starts, but you know, school's out, it's summer. There's a pool on the cover. This was gripping. So this was my first Mary Higgins Clark outside of the Where Are My Children series, which is what my mom lent me because she really enjoyed that series, and I read both the first one and then the follow-up Where Are My Children Now, and actually really enjoyed them. And now I want to read some other Mary Higgins Clark, so if you have recommendations for like your favorites, let me know. But I thought this one, I've Got My Eyes on You, was perfect for this summer. So it's a pretty basic premise. We have an 18-year-old Carrie. She is just graduating from high school and she's really excited, and she throws a party while her parents are gone, and there's, you know, some alcohol involved, lots of her high school friends, and unfortunately her parents get back the next morning because they were picking up her older sister Aline from the airport because she's coming back home to actually work as a guidance counselor at Carrie's school now that she's no longer going to be there as a student. I was not shocked by the ending. I actually called it pretty early on, so I was a little disappointed. I was hoping maybe there was a little bit more of a twist. As I was getting towards the end, I was like, maybe this is like a red herring I've fallen for, but I did actually guess the like who behind everything. But I will say this, the characters were so compelling. I was so interested in how all the multiple points of views were coming together that I didn't really mind it. I really flew through it. I'm gonna say it's like a 3.5 for me. It was really enjoyable. I flew through it. I really enjoyed it. I think what I liked the most about it was seeing the characters kind of learn about each other and like also come to terms with who
they thought other people are and who they actually are, because especially with Aline's case, her older sister, Carrie's older sister coming back, she hasn't been around her family for 3 years because she's been away like in London, like getting her degree and stuff like that. So for her, even though she like knows her family and she knows her sister, she's trying to really do some sleuthing to figure out what happened to Carrie. And she's finding things out that she didn't know about her sister because, of course, you know, her younger sister's 18. She's going to keep some things to herself, and, you know, Aline wasn't around as well, so it's different. But despite calling the ending and the general, like, means, motive, that kind of thing for this book, the reveal was still so heart-pounding. And what was interesting, and I thought really well handled, is that next door to the Downings, Carrie's family, is this young man named Jamie. He's like 20 years old, and he is intellectually disabled in some way. I guess when he was born, I think like the umbilical cord or something like cut off his oxygen supply for a bit, so that ended in him forming this disability. And what I liked about it is that I feel like he was a fleshed out character. I mean, of course I can't speak for him or for someone with that type of disability since I don't have it myself, but I feel like it was handled sensitively, and it was interesting seeing, as you know, he might have noticed some things, but are people gonna take him seriously? And like, you know, his mom's concerned about him like messing up and saying something that like implicates him, or the police like using him as like an easy target, because he was actually a big friend of Carrie's and she was always really kind to him and they hung out a lot. So I really enjoyed his story in particular. I liked Aline's story. I'm excited to see, I liked the ending and stuff, and just kind of see like how everything wrapped up with the characters. So overall, I really enjoyed this. I think a 3.5, which maybe doesn't sound like the highest rating, but I don't know, I didn't find the ending super surprising, and it wasn't like the most unique thing I've ever read, but it was just a solid, fun read. So if you, maybe fun's not the right word, it definitely has some dark elements, but just an engaging mystery. So I enjoyed that. Moving on, I then picked up The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, which has been one of my most anticipated releases for thrillers this year. And I'm very excited to say it did not let me down. It's not my all-time favorite from Lucy Foley. I think I still love The Guest List and The Paris Apartment a little more, which I think is an unpopular opinion about The Paris Apartment. Let me know if you enjoyed that, because I feel like that one didn't get the same amount of love, and I really liked it. So I would say the strong points of The Midnight Feast: the atmosphere. Basically we have this character, Francesca, and she's opening, it's her family, her inheritance. She inherited this like manor that's like in the middle of the woods near this small town, and she had grown up like going summering and stuff there, and she's decided to turn it into this like luxury like wellness resort. So it's very like, there's crystals in every room, there's like Reiki instructors, it's very like, I want to say like Instagram wellness trendy, I would say. It's designed very well for marketing, we'll put it that way. And it's opening weekend for the resort. A lot of locals are upset though, because it's adding a lot of, you know, people are coming into the town. It's usually quiet. They've cut off some of the walking paths through the woods, which technically the family owns, so I think that's in their right maybe to do so, but it was always open before, so the locals are not happy. And there's this local legend about the birds, and the birds are this like kind of vengeance, mythical like vengeance local legend, and they have taken care of issues in the past is kind of the general premise. And so we're reading from multiple points of views, as Lucy Foley is known for, Francesca. We're reading from like her husband's perspective, we're reading from one of the employees, Eddie, we're reading from a guest perspective, and I just love that layered perspective, so you're kind of seeing the resort from all different perspectives, and I think that really adds to it. And then just the atmosphere of this with the woods nearby, there's like creepy feathers and things that keep like showing up that are kind of like omens of the birds. There's this like precarious cliff nearby with the beach, which isn't quite as cozy and summery, it's more precarious of a setting, and it just kept like, the ante just kept going up. I will say the first 50 pages or so, I wasn't the pacing hadn't quite hit me yet. It was a little slower for me at the beginning, but once you get about 50 pages in, some of these like twists that start dropping, wow. And then I stayed up so late reading this last night. I stayed up to almost 11, which I know isn't very late for a lot of people. I tend to go to sleep by like 9:30. So for me, that was very late, but I had to know what happened. I loved this. This was just such a satisfying read. I'm gonna say a strong 4 to 4.5 stars. I did like the guest list in the Paris apartment just a little more because I feel like I got into it faster. But the Midnight Feast definitely got me. And then last but not least, I am part of the way into the tea shop mystery. This is The English Breakfast Murder, book 4 in the series by Laura Childs. Absolutely so beautiful. This is 1 word too short for the 5-word prompts, so that's a bit of a bummer. But this can also double up, I think, during like a summer one, because the main character Theodosia, it starts out with her helping these loggerhead turtles. Like, they kind of watch them to help them get into the ocean because they're like an endangered species, which is really cool because I do not live near an ocean. That's not something like that happens around here, but I found that to be a really interesting, very cool volunteer opportunity that she took on. Yeah, and so you get into the mystery really quick with this, which is something I do like about the tea shop mysteries. I feel like you get into it very quickly. There's not like a lot of delay with the murder or the body being found. So in this case, we have a local antiques dealer who is found floating in the ocean while this volunteer opportunity is going on, and Theodosia ends up finding him. And one of Theodosia's employees, Drayton, who is this very, really love him as a character. He's very formal and very like kind of old school, very gentleman-y. A lot of like more classic interests, you could say, like antiques. He's very big on the tea. He really knows his like the history and everything and the culture behind that. He's a very cultured person, I guess you could say. And he was friends with the person who was found murdered. So Theodosia gets involved in the murder, trying to solve it and trying to help her friend cope with his grief. And that's kind of where we're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and read that while on the sprints today. Okay, I just love red lipstick so much. I love this shade. This is the Milani, the Color Statement lipsticks. This is their Matte Confident. This is one of my favorite fall colors. It feels very like kind of vampire-y, I think, on me, just because I have fair skin and I just love it. And since we're doing Summerween, I'm like, yeah, let's go fall. Okay, so that's where we're at, guys. Happy Summerween day 3. I can't believe it's Sunday. I'm so grateful it's Sunday. I'm still feeling a little burnt out from the week, but I have some really exciting reading updates. So I did finish The English Breakfast Murder by Laura Childs. It's just, every time the endings get me for this series. I love it. They're just so elegant. I love like the Charleston kind of the circles they mingle in, because I don't know, there's like the high tea, there's a lot of antique collectors, there was like a fashion show in this one that was quite cool, that was like a fundraiser event, and I just love all these like quirky situations they get into. Drayton is one of the employees at the shop, and I love Haley as well. She's like a younger woman who is in college and she bakes and everything, and I love her as well, but Drayton just has my heart. He is such this like sweeter, it's implied he's older, I'm not sure how old he is, but older than like Theodosia at least, and he just has, he has my heart. He's such like a refined, gentlemanly type, and he loves his antiques, and he's like great with his tea setups, and he has such a personality. So I just love this series for the personality. I think the mysteries are solid. This was another knockout. I think I looked at the next book in the series, and I think that one takes place during the autumn, so I might try to hold off a month or so just till I'm closer to autumn. We'll see. Then I started One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. I'm feeling a 5-star. I'm feeling this could be really good. I haven't had a 5-star with Ruth Ware. I've read The Death of Miss Westaway, but some of her newer ones haven't been big hits for me. I didn't love 0 Days, and I liked The It Girl. Like, I enjoyed both of them, but they weren't knockouts for me, not as much as some of her earlier work. Like, I love One by One and The Death of Miss Westaway, so I'm so excited to say that One Perfect Girl is going really well for me. So we have our main character Lila. She's got kind of an interesting perspective. She's actually a virologist, so she's like a scientific researcher, and she studies viruses and things like that, like cures, and she is kind of employed by her boyfriend Nico, who's an aspiring actor. He hasn't really hit the big time in any way, but he's hoping to go on this reality TV show called One Perfect Couple to get attention and, like, you know, larger social media following, new opportunities, but you need to go on as a couple. It's like a combination of like Survivor and like Love Island. I'm not really familiar with Love Island. Apparently it's couples on the show and they're on an island, so that is like this, where they're on an island. But anyways, they get on the show, and Lila's not really thrilled about it, but she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it for him. Maybe this will be good, because she's kind of stuck with her career at the moment. Things are a little slower than she'd like, and the drama so far has been top notch. I am enjoying this so much. We're also reading these transmissions. So like this one is right before chapter 3, so nothing really spoilery, but it's just like these transmissions where you don't know who, but someone is trying to get a hold of like the boat and saying like, hey, the storm's coming in, this is urgent, like pick up, like we need help, and like no one apparently is responding because the days keep passing by. So I am feeling the edge with this. I am really enjoying this. And then in terms of a cozier read, Be My Ghost and book 1 in the Haunted Haven mystery series, which I can't wait for, but it's perfect because it takes place in Florida, so you got the summery palm tree vibes, but it's right before Halloween. And this is Finn, the golden retriever who failed as a service dog because he was too friendly. And I was like, do we really consider that a failure? I mean, I understand that he failed to become like certified, but it's for a good reason, like being too, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, and then stay tuned for tonight because I'm actually going to be trying out a new baking recipe. I have been dying to try these. I saw these on Morgan Long's channel. She is like a very cozy vlogger. I think a lot of you would enjoy her if you don't already. She's a much bigger YouTuber than me. I will link her video down below, and she linked the recipe. She actually made a vegan version on her video. I'm just going to follow the original recipe with like butter and stuff since I'm not vegan with my food, but they're lemon cookies with a raspberry buttercream. Tell me that doesn't sound so amazing and refreshing and delicious, and I haven't felt so inclined to try a new recipe for baking in a while, and that really caught my attention. So I was like, okay, we're gonna make that. Raspberry buttercream. You have to find freeze-dried raspberry powder. That's the trick. And I don't know about you guys, but we looked, my husband and I, in like multiple grocery stores, even like a health food kind of grocery store nearby. Couldn't find it. So I actually ended up giving it and ordering it on Amazon because I couldn't find freeze-dried raspberry powder anywhere. I don't know. If you have an idea where you can find that, let me know. But let's go ahead and do some baking and reading. The cookies are in the oven. I got 5 and some change here. I did make 2 small adjustments that you didn't see on camera. I actually added a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon juice, like just one, like half of a lemon, because I live in a drier climate and so I often have to add a little splash more of like water or milk or whatever liquid to the batter, and I thought why not add a little lemon juice because it wasn't coming together, it was a little dry, because I live in a very dry area. And then I didn't show on screen, but I didn't push the sugar cookies down, like flatten them a little bit. So I did take them out of the oven, or just after I put them in, flatten them, put them back in. So they're in the oven right now. But I did want to give you guys a reading update. So reading updates, I did fly through and finish One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. This was a 5-star read for me. I feel like Ruth Ware is back, at least the type of Ruth Ware that I really, really love. Like I said, I enjoyed her last 2 releases. I did like them, they were good, but they didn't hit the spot just like I wanted it, like with the death of Miss Westaway and One by One, and I just, wow. I did not see things come. I did not see where this was going with their relationship. I did not see this whole thing going. Oh my goodness, this was intense. There's definitely a lot of details about dehydration and like food, you know, hoarding and like survival, because I mean these people are like rationing food because they are cut off from the rest of society. They're on this like island, no one else lives there. It's like they're staying at this like luxury resort that hasn't opened yet, so in theory it should be really good, but when they get cut off they have, you know, they just have some of the non-perishables there and like water, but they don't really have access to anything. They have a radio, so they're sending radio messages throughout this book, but no one's picking up. It's super nail-biting. Oh wow, I really recommend this. If this sounds interesting to you at all, I would pick it up. I had such a good time. 5 stars. And then on this end, I am on chapter 10 of Be My Ghost. I was on some reading sprints earlier and I'm loving this. And I mentioned in the reading sprints that I was reading this and some people were saying, oh, I love that series, it's so good. And I was like, yes, that's always good to hear, right? And then I love this. I have a little seashell bookmark, which I thought was so cute for like a summery vibe, but I am loving this. Maureen is a really great character. Finn, her failed service dog golden retriever, is adorable. There has already been a bit of supernatural activity, but it seems like it's going to be at the level that I personally like in my cozies, where it's like maybe a touch of supernatural but not like crazy levels. So I'm really excited. The bed and breakfast is really cute. There's a really interesting restaurant called Elizabeth's, and I have like this beautiful image of it based on like a restaurant I ate at a hotel for an anniversary a while back, and I have like this vision of it in my head. I don't know if that's exactly what the author envisioned, but it just really came to life on paper. I'm enjoying the Florida setting. They are just like, their block for the bed and breakfast is right at the edge of the beach, so they are right there, and I'm so excited to see where this goes. So that is that. We're gonna go get the cookies now. Oh no, I think some of them burned. Well, we're gonna see what we can do. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, that's not the success I was hoping for. Most of these look pretty good. Like, these feel decent. I think I can trim off the little edges on these, so I think it's gonna be salvageable. I'm gonna let these cool and then we're gonna frost them. All right, cheers. Here we go. I'm not actually the biggest sugar cookie person, but lemon and raspberry sounded so good, so we're gonna give it a try. Okay. So the frosting, 10 out of 10. I love it. I've never used freeze-dried raspberry powder before. So good. I absolutely adore that. The cookie is a little, I'm someone who likes really soft chewy cookies, so it's a little crunchy for me. So I'm gonna put the next batch in and cook them for like maybe a minute less. Something like that, see if they're a little bit softer, but it does have a nice soft lemon flavor. It's not like super hit you over the head hard, but it definitely has a nice like touch of lemon, which I think goes well with the raspberry. So I'm gonna give this recipe an overall 7 out of 10. If I can make the cookies a little softer and chewier, if I reduce the cooking time a little bit, I'm gonna bump that to an 8 out of 10. But overall, I would recommend this recipe. I think it's really fun. I do think that adding a splash of lemon juice was a nice touch, in my opinion, at least with my drier climate. I think that helped and kind of boosted the flavor a little bit, but overall, especially the raspberry buttercream, so good. Hi guys! So I'm currently reading 2 books. I'm almost done with Be My Ghost by Carol J. Perry. This is the first in the Haunted Haven mystery series. It is a supernatural series. There are ghosts, but it's not super natural in the sense that like the protagonist doesn't have like magical powers, which I personally like. I like the supernatural touch. It's kind of like a fun, lighthearted haunted mansion, because the main setting for this is a B&B that the main character has inherited from a random stranger, which I'm very curious if we're going to learn some connection there. Don't really know, but so far I'm 160 pages in. It's about another 100 some pages to go, and I'm really enjoying this. I think it's flying by really well. For those that are cat lovers, you're gonna love that. Yes, there is a dog on the cover, Finn. He's a golden retriever, but there are 2 cats from the late hotel owner who are sticking around, and they are very cute. So if you like animals at all, there's plenty of animal action in this. There's also a really nice restaurant, lots of delicious food scenes, and I think the mystery, it's starting to pick up really well. We're getting more of like a layout of the neighborhood and the town. Maureen's going around and like talking to people, trying to figure some things out, visiting. There's like an interesting storage shed with like old things from the hotel that's kind of I'm curious about. So overall, this is going really well. I'm intrigued by the mysterious inheritance. I'm curious about who did it. I have a suspicion, but we'll see if that turns out to be true. And then today I started for my thriller read, Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, and this is flying by. I'm on page 144. And it's about 360 pages, so I'm like a third of the way-ish in, and I'm really enjoying this. So we have our main character Ethan, and when he was 10 years old, him and his friend Billy were camping in their backyard, in Ethan's like parents, like the backyard, like they had a tent set up, and you would think that'd be a really safe setting, being in the backyard of your parents' home. You know, they were both 10-year-old boys. They did this every Friday night, and it was this, you know, quiet little suburban neighborhood. Well, unfortunately, in the middle of the night, Billy was taken at some point, and there's like a big slash to the tent, and now we're jumped forward 30 years later, so he's now 40. He still doesn't know what happened to his childhood best friend. It haunts him, of course. He's back at home helping his parents sell the house because they have relocated to Florida. And we're kind of following him as he comes to grasp with that, as there's some movement in the case, and we're also meeting people from his past, and we're seeing how they have or haven't changed, which is very interesting. So I'd say overall it's a little more of a slow burn, but I'm definitely very intrigued. And we're reading some flashbacks from the day like leading up to the abduction or whatever happened to Billy, and I'm really enjoying learning more about the characters again, with seeing how they've transformed or not transformed over the years. So those are my thoughts on that. Hi guys, I just finished Be My Ghost, and this is actually 5 stars. I love this. This is so charming. This is my type of supernatural, where it's fun, there's a little bit of supernatural, but it's nothing insane, and it doesn't like solve the mystery, the supernatural element. But there are real ghosts in this. There's one ghost who loves changing her outfit. She's very fashionable. She's like a movie star. I love it. The ending for this was great. I called most of it, but it just was so well put together. I'm so excited to see where Maureen and Finn are going next, and how they're gonna revamp and elevate the bed and breakfast. And I want to learn more about the previous owner, Penelope Gray. She's very mysterious, but this is fun. The writing was so fast-paced and just lighthearted and charming. I haven't read Carol J. Perry before, but I'm definitely going to be looking up what else she's written, and there's I think 2 books out in the series after this, so I'll definitely be getting to those soon. So that's my update on this. friends, this is the end of our Summerween video. I have 2 final reviews for you, and wow, were these knockouts. I'm so pleased to say. So I have Murder in the Mystery Suite and Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. So let's start with this one because I gave you an update on this already. Wow. Okay, so this is not my all-time favorite Riley Sager. That one still is Lock Every Door. That's my very, very favorite. But this is a very solid 4-star read for me. I really enjoyed this. What I didn't expect with this is how emotional I would get. It was hard to read some of these like flashbacks and to see how the characters had changed over the years and just the emotions they were grappling with. And I don't feel like anything shocked me except for the kind of final who behind everything with Billy, but it was just so interesting. I was just fascinated. There's like woods near the house and there's some things going on in the woods that are rather creepy, and I loved learning about that. I thought that was so interesting, and I thought the conclusion was very riveting and very heartwarming, like the kind of the post everything, how it wrapped up. I was like, oh, my heart. So this is definitely a solid read by Riley Sager. I would recommend it. I really enjoyed it. 4 stars. I read this in one night. You guys were so right. When I bought this from a used book sale, a bunch of you had said in the comments, like, I really loved this, you're gonna love this book, and I thought it sounded really good, and it was amazing. 5 stars. I devoured this. This was such an amazing cozy mystery. I can't wait to read more in this series. I'm not sure how many are out. This one came out in 2014. And it's the first book in the series, so I am so excited to read more. So our main character in this is Jane Stewart, and along with her aunt and uncle, who are also stewards, and they run this beautiful place called Storyton Resort, and it's basically a book-themed resort. Come on. Like, there's the Green Gables gazebo after, like, Anne of Green Gables. I think there's, like, a Agatha Christie like parlor or something. Oh, there's a Daphne du Maurier morning room, which I'm assuming is after Rebecca. If you are a book lover in any way, you will love all of these little like bookish references. But basically, she is trying to figure out how to earn more revenue for her family business, and what she decides to do is she decides to put on a themed week where it's like a murder and mayhem reading week. And so she has all of these people who are fascinated with mysteries like us go to this event, and they're all dressed up as different detectives and, you know, different characters from mystery books and stuff, which was amazing. Oh my goodness. And basically there's a prize for like a first edition book that's rather valuable. Someone wins it, someone dies, and the mystery ensues, and wow. This was so good. I was absolutely so impressed, and I love her aunt, Octavia. I love both her aunt and uncle, but her aunt, her personality is bigger than life. I absolutely adore her. Jane is also the mother of 2 twin boys. Are you ready for their names? Fitzgerald and Hemingway. Now, I don't know about naming kids that for their first name in real life. That might be a little... I don't know about Hemingway at least. But for a book, I love it. There's also a beautiful cat right here, and the cat's name, are you ready for this? They originally thought the cat was a girl cat, so they named her Miss Muffet, but it turns out he's a boy cat, so they named him Muffet Cat. It's so cute. Anyways, this had so many charming attributes. There's some really interesting things about the resort and family that you'll learn going into it. I am not going to say anything else because I went into this blind, not knowing any of those, and it made it even better, so I will not give anything away with that, but there's some definite interesting things about this family, and I just am so fascinated. I can't wait to read more. I'm hoping there should be a good number more of these, because if this book came out in 2014, it's the first in the series. That means I'm hoping there's like at least 6 or 7 more books out. I can't wait. So thank you guys for recommending that to me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you participated in Summerween, or you're still participating, because it doesn't need to stop here in my opinion. Who else is ready for fall? I'm so ready for fall. Is August too early for me to start putting out fall content? Let me know, because I'm so ready. It's too hot here. I need to escape. But let me know if you read anything for Summerween, what you have been enjoying. I would love to hear your thoughts. Did you read any of these new thriller releases? Have you read any of these cozy mysteries? What are you reading? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. I do post new book content every week on my channel. It's my absolute passion. I love sharing it with you guys. And if you enjoy anything with a mystery element, whether that's cozy, all the way up to thriller, anywhere in the mystery genre, you'll enjoy the stuff I post on this channel. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!